All right, Dixie, we have made our way up into the Frisco ISD area, and we are talking 5A Division One. And when I look through this stuff, man, all I see is Lone Star talent, Lone Star talent, and Lone Star talent. That team looks jam packed. Is anybody going to be able to give them a run for their money in this district?
One thing I think it's my own personal bias when I think about Frisco Lone Stars. I think about Davian Groce. Davian Groce is kind of the player that I associate with Frisco Lone Star. But when I was really going through the statistics, going through the all district list last year, they only had Davian as a second team player in this district because the coaches were all about and very high, and rightfully so, on Carice Hoyt. What Carice Hoyt did last year was an all-star performance for a Lone Star team. We're talking about 2,947 yards passing with 32 touchdowns. How does he follow that up, Ward, with 1,300 yards rushing and 20 touchdowns? Carice Hoyt last year had 52 combined touchdowns. I would say, Ward, that is bobblehead worthy right there.
Amen.
I think you may have to consider him for a bobblehead this year. But Davian Gross, what did he do? He was a dual threat player. He had 687 yards rushing and 7 touchdowns. He also had 700 yards receiving. This is a special player who can do it all. He can be a running back, he can be a wide receiver, he can throw the ball if he needs to. I mean, this is a player who can absolutely be a well-rounded player. And that's not all they got. They got Isaiah Massey coming back, 400 yards rushing. They got the great Ryder Mix. Ryder Mix is an underrated blocker, Ward. This is a guy who is huge, who is like a sixth offensive lineman, who is going to give Hoyt that kind of protection if needed. But he can get out there and get in routes. He had 440 yards receiving and 6 touchdowns last year, Ward. This is a player who makes big plays in big situations. In defense, Ward, they got a great Jordan Deck coming back and Bryant Robinson. I'm going to give you a prediction, Ward. Next year, think about it. I want you to have a nice little dream sequence right here. Frisco Lone Star, Highland Park in the playoffs.
Woo!
You see it? I
That's
see it.
sweet. That is sweet like bear meat. I mean, when you talk about tiers, Lone Star seems like they're in a tier by themselves at one. What are we doing with the other tiers?
This is when you get that Frisco ISD where you just have to go, I don't know. Well, you're the expert, Diggs. Why don't you know? You're the one who's supposed to know. If you remember last year, Ward, we had a special guest on who was telling us all about
Yeah,
Frisco. Do you know?
we
Did you
need to bring
finally
them
learn how to
back.
say his last name?
No, you do. You know I don't. We'd be doing this all day if I try to do that again.
We won't make you do that. But I think this year I'm going to pick a little bit of an upset pick as my number two pick. I'm very excited about Frisco Wakeland, and just for the same reasons we talked about Frisco Lone Star, kind of that 1-2 punch. Wakeland has their own 1-2 punch. Jaden Maples came out of nowhere last year. He threw for 2,804 yards and 27 touchdowns. Frisco Wakeland was kind of a surprise team last year that they kind of just very young weren't expected to do much, and all of a sudden we're hearing Brennan Meyer's brother Grayson Meyer coming in at wide receiver. He had 814 yards receiving last year and 7 touchdowns. I think if Frisco Wakeland can figure out the running game, I've already got them at number two. I'm not saying they're going to be a threat for Lone Star, but they could be a threat going into the playoffs if they can kind of figure out the running game. So I really like Wakeland. And a team that I have disrespected and that I've gotten called out for disrespecting has been Frisco Reedy. So even though they graduated everybody, they feel like Richland to me, Ward. We talked about Richland two
Yeah.
weeks ago as kind of just the team that graduated everybody. That's Frisco Reedy this year. A player that I'm very excited about that they do have coming back on the defense is Preston Healy. This is a big kid who has basically gotten to work with really good defenses the last 2 years because Reedy's strength has been their defense the last couple of years. He's the only one back, so he's going to have to usher in a new generation of defense because they graduated everybody. But Reedy's JVs and their underclass, I feel like I got to give them the benefit of the doubt. But it is a really packed district in here, and you could see one of 5 teams making the playoffs over Reedy. I think it was last year I said Reedy wasn't even going to make the playoffs. They go 10-3 and had one of the greatest comebacks of all time against Georgetown last year. So I got to be a little bit careful about being disrespectful about Frisco Reedy. But they also got their running back coming back. Jarrett Walker had 670 yards and 10 touchdowns. So I think I have to respect Frisco Reedy enough to get him in there and put him in the playoffs.
Well, it's a team I liked especially from last year, talking to their coach about how they want to be known as wide receiver U because they have so many speedy receivers as Heritage. And matter of fact, they brought in a quarterback to throw to him too with Joshua Greek coming from Ferris. But talk to me about Heritage because they lost a receiver, went to Louisville with Tatum Bell, and then their second or third best receiver, Cameron Lomax, is just so dominant on the basketball court. I don't want to throw too many routes his way. I don't want to get him hurt for hoops because that kid is nasty on the court. Talk to me about them and how they may fit in this playoff scenario.
Yeah, I really like Frisco Heritage as well. Last year we talked about that they got that Ferris transfer in, and he performed at a very high level last year. Heritage was a very hard luck team last year. He threw for 1,951 yards and 21 touchdowns. They've got their running back coming back in Denzel Okikuchi, 763 yards and 6 touchdowns. Losing Tatum Bell, let's make no bones about it. It's going to hurt them. I mean, he is an all district player. He had over 1,000 yards last year, so they got to figure out some production for him. You talked about Cameron Lomax. He's a special player. Multiple sports, basketball. You highlighted what a good player he is, and he had 5 touchdowns, 377 yards. He loves that jump ball. You need a jump ball in the end zone. You call Cameron Lomax, and he will
Yep.
take care of that for you. But Vincent Hooper, I mean, he had a great year on both sides of the ball. He had eight touchdowns last year and 574 yards receiving and 4 touchdowns. I feel like Heritage has enough in that offensive tank to where they can do some things even without Tatum Bell. I think I've got them as my fourth playoff team right now, and that's over a hard luck Frisco team that's bringing back their quarterback and running back in Corbin Harbert and Jackson Voris last year. Frisco just finds a way, it seems like, where they get an injury or something happens to them. If they can stay healthy, why not Frisco? I definitely could see Frisco being a team to compete for. Or being very disrespectful and not even talking about the team that actually did make the playoffs last year, Ward and McKinney North. But McKinney North, just like Richland, just like Frisco Reedy, they graduated
Yeah.
everybody. Greg Ard, what a talent last year for McKinney North at running back. Graduating him is going to be tough. They got to figure out replacing him. But quarterback Brooks Nelson, he's coming back. They lost to West Mesquite last year, and I think they're going to be on the lower half of this district.
Well, unfortunately, speaking about the lower half, you got to talk about Sherman's, the Lebanon Trails, and Centennials. Can they kind of find a way to maybe not just beat each other, but maybe get a couple wins from the guys ahead of them and push up in the rankings?
Last year, if we talk about parity, this district absolutely had it because everybody was capable of beating everybody last year. I mean, nobody went over in this district. Everybody had at least one district win. And one of the players of the year last year in this district was at Lebanon Trail, a freshman named Dorian Vaughn. We're going to be talking about him for the next couple of years of the district campfire. Hopefully, you've got our 2 to 3 year contract kind of paced out. Actually, I think you're canceling me. Who knows what's happening after that? But Dorian Vaughn is a player that we're going to talk about somehow, somewhere down the road because as a freshman, he was a really special player. Lebanon Trail looks like a team that they could be getting better. Sherman just seems like they're ready. They're ready to take that next step, but for whatever reason, they just can't find the depth to do it. I think Frisco Centennial for me is the team that's really going to be struggling. They got to figure out some things, but Zach Eskelson is a really talented wide receiver. He had 400 yards receiving last year. They just got to find a way to give him the ball because everybody's double teaming him, and he's still finding ways to get on the stat sheet and to make all district teams.
Well, if we're sticking Lone Star at 1, give me the rest of that district for me.
Yeah, I got Frisco Lone Star at 1, Frisco Wakeland at 2, Frisco Reedy at 3, Heritage at 4, the old school Frisco High at 5, McKinney North at 6, Lebanon Trail at 7, Sherman number 8, and Frisco Centennial. We'll remember the Titans, but I got them at number 9.